Greetings everyone, Ray Landis here with yet another guitar adventure, and this time we're going to talk about a Firefly Super FFST, this guitar right here. Alright, today I have the Firefly Super FFST, and basically what this is, it's like a super Strat. It's a Strat shape, but a little different than a typical Stratocaster. But the features on this thing are amazing. That is a twin humbucker setup. We have a three-way switch. We have a coil split here, master volume, master tone, and a 2-point trem. And this thing is really, really nice. The color is called metallic green. And you can get a close look at that. It's kind of got like a fleck in it, but watch what happens when you turn it over. Wow. It's got this beautiful wood grain. I left the back plate off so you could see inside, but I'm going to break this down for you, kind of tell you what we're looking at piece by piece, and then I'm going to tell you some of the things that I don't like about it, and then some of the things I do like. All right, so I want to break down the specs for you a little bit. They say that this is a roasted maple neck with a rosewood fretboard. Now, this neck is one of those ones that has the stainless steel ball end frets, and it is absolutely smooth. There's not a single sharp edge on this. The neck is a 9.5-inch radius up near the nut, and it's actually a compound. It goes to a 14 up in the upper registers. So having a compound radius is something that you would normally pay a real premium for, but they're including that in this package. So we've got the roasted maple neck, we've got the rosewood fingerboard, stainless steel frets, compound radius, and then on the headstock we've got locking tuners. All right, so the body is bound with this beautiful cream binding all the way around the front side of the guitar. And I was surprised because it actually has an arm cut, but it also has the binding, even with the arm cut, running all the way around this front section. On the back, we've got the belly cut, and then we've got the upper register cut there where you can get better access to the upper frets. And this is a little different than you would see on most Stratocasters. They used ferrules here instead of a neck plate, which I think is really nice because then they're able to keep this nice contour. And again, the shape of it is a little different than a typical Stratocaster, but still keeping the Stratocaster-ish configuration, which is really nice. And unique is that they've actually routed out the body cavity so that there's no need for a pick guard. And they've made this section of the wood thin enough that they could put the potentiometers in and the switch without having any pick guard. I like too that they've got the two humbuckers with the covered top with the silver there and everything. That looks really nice. And then if you look inside the back cavity, it's got a nice full-size block. And you can see now that I've got that completely decked, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about why I've done that. But inside of this cavity, which is not open, the pots are full size, the switch is full size, and all the electronics are high quality. I don't know how they do it for the price. This guitar was $160, round figure. And this, to me, is very high quality. There are a couple little blemishes. There's a little blemish right here, which really isn't a blemish because it's not a crack or a mark. It's just a little irregularity in the finish. And on the back of the neck, if you run your hand up along here, you can feel a couple little spots on the neck that aren't perfectly smooth. But for $160, I think they did a really good job. The fit and finish on this guitar is really, really nice. I'll tell a little story about this guitar. When I took it out of the box, it actually played pretty good. And it didn't have bad action. It wasn't good action, but it didn't have bad action. At the nut, we had about 30 or 35 thousandths of an inch at the first fret. That I think was a little high. Maybe for their spec, they do it that way so that you can actually reduce that down to an amount that you prefer, because some players do like a higher, a higher fret, a higher action here at the first fret. Um, but I felt that that needed to be fixed. So the thing is with this is that it's got all the components that you would think would keep in good tune, but I could not keep this guitar in tune. So I changed out the strings. I reconfigured the tension on the tremolo, and I got the action and the neck relief all set. It did need a little adjustment in all of those areas. Not extreme though, but it still would not stay in tune. I've had some other Fireflies, and these tremolo systems, they look good and they seem good. They should be good by what you're looking at, but for some reason they just don't stay in tune. And it's not the neck, because I've used one of their necks on another guitar with a different tremolo, and the neck and the tuners, are good. It's this tremolo. Something with these tremolos that they use just don't find a stable place, and your tuning goes out. If you get it in tune, you can use the tremolo a little bit, and it can be used, but you're going to be tuning like all the time. So what I've done is I've decked it, and that almost completely solves the problem. And when I say almost, it still doesn't stay in perfect tune. So I used some special lubricant on the nut. I made sure that all the tuners were tight. I checked and put a little lubricant on the saddles. And again, I don't have the ability to get this guitar to stay in perfect tune. So I think that if you wanted a solution for that, you may want to explore the option of putting a different tremolo on it. But decked, it's probably 95 to 97% of what you would want as far as staying in tune. It still will go out of tune, but it's not like you're going to have constant problems with it. I think that's the solution, is to deck it or put another tremolo on it. So what I like about this guitar is really everything except for the things I said that I didn't like. I've actually kind of embraced, finally, the shape of the Firefly headstock. And I think in this wood tone, I think that it looks even better than it does on the other Fireflies that I have. So I've really kind of embraced the headstock, the feel of the neck, the width this way and the width this way is absolutely amazing. The fretwork is amazing. The sound of these pickups is absolutely it's just beautiful. These pickups have such a nice sound. I prefer the way that they sound as humbuckers, but if you pull up the tone control, then it splits both of these into single coils. It still sounds good. You get a significant volume drop, but it still sounds nice. But again, I prefer to play it with the humbuckers in full mode, and I just really I like this guitar. It's just very nice. Now, the story I want to tell about this is that when I got it to the house, I got it out of the box, my wife said, "Oh, I like that green." She goes, "Green doesn't look good on you." So I said, "Okay, well, do you want it?" She goes, "Yeah, I'll take it." So I said, "Okay, you can have that. I'll get back online real quick and order the black one." So next week, I'm getting the matte black, and I'll probably go a few extra steps with that one. Maybe a new tremolo, maybe swap out the pickups and do a few things just to make it a little different. All right, so I want to wrap up a few things about this guitar that I didn't mention in the rest of what I said. I also wanted to tell you that the body on this guitar is supposedly made of mahogany, and I'm thinking that the weight of it is a little lighter than I would expect from a body made of mahogany. I'm thinking that this guitar probably weighs about 7 or maybe 7.5 pounds. So it's not a real heavy instrument. The other thing I wanted to talk about too is that this nut, they say, is a bone nut, but when I carved the nut, it didn't feel like it was bone. They say it's bone, but to me it feels like some sort of a synthetic bone material that actually it carves quite quickly. It's softer than I would expect. So other than that, this guitar and the specs pretty much covered everything. And if you've found this video to be informative, or has it helped you make a decision whether or not you would like to purchase one of these, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back to see you next time for the next guitar adventure. Take care.